Adewale, now you've played some pretty impressively menacing characters before, but how did you feel when you got the call saying we want you to play a huge comic book villain, Killer Croc?
You know, I guess my first question to David Ayers was, are they going to know that it's me in there? And he said, absolutely. The reason he didn't want to CGI Killer Croc is he was looking for an actor that could bring the soul of the creature alive. And when he showed me the extent of the prosthetics that he was thinking of, I was really intrigued because it was really quite an amazing job that they were really trying to achieve, and it was a combination of prosthetics and it was fully painted onto my body. So the head and shoulders was a prosthetic piece, about 3 or 4 pieces, eyes, jaw, and the head, and then the rest was painstakingly painted by an amazing team headed by Chris Nelson. And the process took 5 hours, but I was like, once I saw the imagery, I was really inspired because it just, I guess I just like the challenge of what I could do with that tool and how far I could push the bar. I knew I was going to have to act my butt off in order to, stand out in that wonderful cast.
And you mentioned that working with David was one of the main draws
Yeah.
for this project, but he sounds pretty ruthless on set. What was it about him that made you want to work with him?
I think, I'd seen Fury, which I really liked because I thought it was particularly impressive because David has a way of really working well with large ensembles. I noticed that each character had a special moment, no matter how small, and he really paid attention to the arcs, the truth of each character, and that's what I was drawn to, and I knew he could do that once I watched Fury. So I knew that's what he was going to go for, and he had told me very clearly he didn't want caricatures. He wanted characters, villains with souls, and it's evidenced in some of the words that Killer Croc might say. He would say "I'm beautiful," but it's very sincere, and and it kind of goes against what he looks like and what you would expect in this genre. But those are some of the things I thought were interesting. Just listening to his vision. Yeah.
And you listened to tapes of Japanese cannibalism to get into character. What does that even sound like, and how affecting was that to you?
It's quite disturbing. I'd asked David, I said, is he really a cannibal? He said, absolutely. And to that end, I started to do my research, and I came across this real live Japanese cannibal, alive today, by the name of Issei Sagawa. And I would listen to his confessionals every day while they were applying my prosthetic. It was like 5 hours, and to the headache of my prosthetic team, because I think they kind of went mad and had to have therapy after that. But what it does, it gives you this eerie appreciation of why somebody would actually be drawn to liking human flesh. And I would reside in that kind of space while I was, playing Killer Croc. That and the combination of the prosthetics, and once I started doing the movements in the mirror, and it just brought him alive. But it is a very dark space to stay in for 5 months, yeah.
Can imagine.
I ran to a beach in Africa, in Zanzibar, and allowed the water to just wash it away afterwards, you know what I mean?
And finally, as far as big blockbuster films go, it's relatively diverse cast in terms of race and female characters.
Yeah.
How rare but vital is diversity in today's film world?
Me, obviously being a black man, I'm delighted to see a cast like this because, I've been doing this for a couple of decades now, and you just don't see on such a large platform these kind of diverse casts. And I think I have to give credit to David Ayers. I mean, he cast an American Indian in the role of Slipknot, which is traditionally a Jewish chemist, and I thought that was very brave. But the other thing is, David really, he doesn't necessarily think about diversity. He thinks about who's the best actor for the part. But women are really strongly represented in this movie, and there's some solid arcs behind them. They're not just eye candy. Viola Davis kills it, you know, as does Margot, Robbie, and Cara. And then, you know, you've got it across the board, and I think that just reflects the society we live in. Everybody loves to sit in a cinema and see their own face up there. Yeah, I think it's great. The more the merrier. Bring it on.
Adewale, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!